asking me to help you out. So, my theme for this was just simple, right? Like as simple as we can make getting increases in sales, the easier it'll be for everybody to implement, to understand, and to be able to get production out of, right? So, background on myself, I've been in sales for about a decade now. I've sold a lot of different products across a lot of different mediums. And one thing that I have realized, and that I try to get other people to realize as well, is that it's really all the same, right? Like, it's value, right? Like, as long as you can communicate value to someone, they will buy anything because it's valuable to them, right? So the first page is going to be like the easiest reference that you guys have when it comes to how to overcome objections, how to communicate with a customer, and just overall how to get the most out of the conversations that you're having with them. So from what I understand, right, like, so you guys are trying to get current customers to come back, spend more money with you, trying to get them to buy packages. People that come in that are new for the first time, you want to get them to buy packages, right? And so it's it can be very difficult to do that in person, right? Like, you don't want to come off as pushy. You don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. And it's difficult to do that without practice and without a guideline to do so, right? So that's literally what that first page is. So call it the 3 R's of selling: relate, redirect, and remain in control, right? So we'll start with relating, right? Relating is simple. We do it naturally all the time. So it could be something as simple as, hey, I understand. Or, hey, how did it go? Or, hey, how has your pain been? Or anything that can help you relate a little bit more to the customer that you're talking about, right? It's not supposed to be difficult. It's just supposed to be simple, something where they feel like you care and you're wrapping your arm around them, right? Redirecting. This is probably the most, I wouldn't say the most important one. I'd probably say remaining in control is the most important one. But redirect is very high up there, because a lot of times what you're going to encounter is these people know that you guys have packages, right? So you ask maybe the first time, they'll say no. The important thing is not to marinate on that conversation immediately after they say no. You need to redirect. You need to take it to a place of building value and communicating with the customer about the benefits of why they want to buy a larger package with you. And then the last one, remain in control. This one is probably the trickiest one, right? Because you think of like remaining in control, and the first thing people want to do is talk. Every time, first thing people want to do is talk. But remaining in control doesn't always mean talking. It means guiding the conversation to a desirable end, right? And so remaining in control could be, let's say you have someone who you can visibly see is on the fence about buying a package. Remaining in control is just saying, okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this information put into the system. Did you want to do a 10-pack or a 5-pack, right? Like, that is you remaining in control without waiting for them to tell you yes or no. You're giving them options of which one that they want to buy instead of a yes or no question. Do you want to do it or do you not want to do it, right? One of the biggest things you'll find is that one of the harder things for people to say is just the word no. It's one of the hardest things in the world for people to say. It's ridiculous, but it is, right? And so you'll get excuses. You'll get, oh, well, let me think about it. Or, oh, well, let me talk to my wife. Or let me talk to the husband, right? All of these things, whether valid or invalid, are opportunities for you to lose control over the conversation, right? So going back, I want to go back a little bit. So going back to relate. Relate is very simple. Hey, I understand. Hey, hope it was a great experience for you. When are you going to be coming back next time? Things that'll make them feel comfortable, right? And then redirecting. So redirecting can just take them somewhere else, right? Because like, no one wants to feel like they're being sold, right? So you can't just keep the conversation there forever. So very simply, redirecting can be something as simple as, okay, so let's see, how many times have you been here in the last 6 months, right? getting off of the conversation of buying packages, right? How are you feeling? How has this been helping you, right? Right. What have you been using it for? Those are all ways to kind of redirect away from, buying a bigger package and getting the person to feel more value out of the conversation that you're having with them. And then, like I said, just remaining in control is it's going to look like a variety of different things, but silence is golden. Silence is golden. Sometimes people just need the opportunity to think about what you've just offered them. And really the best way to overcome objections is to do this every single time. So let's say that you get somebody, you ask them, they say, no, I don't think I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, I completely understand that. I'm glad that you came in today. I hope that you had the great service that you wanted. By the way, how many times have you been in the last 6 months? Do you know? Oh, well, I'm not 100% sure, maybe 1 or 2. Well, let me take a look, right? You're getting the conversation away, right? Away from the sale, right? You're just talking about how many times they've been in, how have the experiences been. Have you ever tried our sauna, right? Have you ever tried any of these things? No? Okay, awesome. You're getting away from what you actually want them to purchase, right? And then after you get away from it for a little bit, then you remain in control of the conversation. So, okay, wow, you've been here. Did you know that you've been here 6 times in the last 5 months? And then silence, right? Like, let them answer. Well, oh, wow, no, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that, right? Because some people will come here a bunch of times and just not realize how much money they're spending without, buying a package from you guys, right? So it's always good to put those things front and center. You're redirecting to the point of getting to the money, right? That's always what it's always going to come down to, is the money, right? So you redirect and then you say, wow, you guys have been here. You've been here only 3 times in the last 6 months, right? Did you know that it's costed you this much money to come and pay individually? But if you bought one of our packages, it could save you this much money over the course of the next 6 months, right? And so this is a fluid conversation. Obviously, you guys would know this better than I do, right? So these are just guidelines. But it's important to make sure that the person that you're talking to feels valued. They feel valued. They feel like you're providing them value. They're gonna buy from you, right? Because this isn't like McDonald's, where they decide if they want to come buy a burger or not, right? This is somewhere where they come to get relief, where they come to get help, where they come to get things that they need. They may not want it, but they need it a lot of times. And some people may want it, right? So it's all about appealing to those things. And the best thing that you can do is just, one, fall a lot. You're gonna get told no a lot. It's a part of the game that we play, right? Expect it. But it's about consistency, right? Because then the next time that they come in, you go through the same motions again. Okay, awesome. You relate to them again. You redirect the conversation, take it somewhere else. Hey, it's been a while since the last time that we spoke. Maybe they said something to you the last time that they were in, right? And you want to bring that back up. These are all little things that mean so much to the people that you talk to that help you remain in control of that relationship with them. So it's never going to work 100% of the time, right? But it's about consistency. If you guys can have a consistent approach to the way that you approach your sales, it'll work, because every single time that person will get more and more in tuned. If you have somebody that's coming here for the first time, you can do that perfectly, and they still might not buy from you, right? It's a thing. They came here for the first time, they liked it, but they may not buy from you. But if you are consistent every time that they come back, that is also a way to build value with people, right? To be able to see that you guys are consistent in the way that you engage them, the way that you control the experience that they're having with you guys. That's another good way to make sure that you're getting more sales. So the second page of that is really just kind of what the sales funnel looks like, and this is just more for implementation purposes than it is for talking about, because we basically just talked about it, right? But you have to get down to the impact and the value, right? Like that, this is just for you guys to be able to hand out to any new employees that may come on, to give them a visual of the sales funnel, right? But this is the sales funnel. It's like, it always starts with the surface problems, the things that they tell you up front that may be real to them, but may not be real to why they're not spending more money, right? But you have to get through those things because those are their surface objections, right? You do that by wrapping your arm around them and then redirecting the conversation towards their reasons, right? Like, what are their reasons for being here? Why are they here? Why are they coming? And what is the impact if they were to do something different, like maybe buy bigger packages for you, right? And honestly, it's always money. Like it just all comes down to money and how you ask for it, right? Let me get $500. No, right? No, obviously, you're not gonna give me $500, right? But if I said, hey, here's a reason why you should give me $500. I am gonna be the best consultant that you have ever had for your company. I'm gonna help you guys increase your revenue by 10 times the amount that you did last week. And on top of that, I'm gonna leave you with some materials to make sure that you can continue to duplicate those results. Now, do you want to pay me $500?
Yes.
Yeah, right? Because the goal is to get people to understand the impact, and it can be so simple. Quick little, not story, but like it happens to me all the time. So I manage a team of 7 reps, and we'll have a customer on the phone, and they'll say, yeah, I love it, but I don't have enough money. And then something as simple as, okay, completely understood. A lot of people that I talk to feel the exact same way. You know, you could always put it on a business credit card. And they're like, oh, you know, you're right. Okay, I'll do that. You knew you had the business credit card, right? But like, you have to verbalize these things. You have to talk about it with them because sometimes the simplest answers elude people, even though it's the simplest answer, right? So you always have to work down the funnel with them. They're gonna give you their surface problems, why they don't wanna do it right now, but you have to get down to the real reason, which 9 times out of 10 will be money or value. They don't see the value or they don't have the money, right? So those are always gonna be the problems that you guys face, but if you don't address those immediately, you'll never get that person. You have to take it up front and understand what they need from you in order to be able to sell them. And then the last page of that little worksheet is just good questions to ask, right? Like ways to engage them, to ask questions that can lead you to your desired outcome, right? So I'll let you guys read those on your own. I know you also have a script already that you use, and Carly showed it to me, and she's like, you know, would you make any changes? Honestly, no, because a script is all about being a baseline, right? It's a baseline for the conversations that you're having. It should always help your conversations evolve. It should never be the only thing that you say. It can't be, right? Because every conversation with every customer is different. So it has to be something that is fluid and creates movement. But these are always great questions to help build value and get down to the bottom of why either they can, can't, will, or won't. And so that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Very, very, very simple stuff. These are all like things that are just very common in sales. You have to make sure that you have a very consistent process in place when addressing objections, when getting new sales, when handling customers. So,
okay, so I do have, if you have a second, I want to ask some questions.
Yeah, of course.
I know you deal with the customers more than I do. What is your normal objections you get? Like, is it mostly, I don't have the money? What would you say?
I would say money and time.
Money and time?
Yeah, money and time, just because, like, we recommend them doing it 2 to 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
With people having jobs 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
and busy on the weekends, they aren't able to, like, come in that many times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big issue.
Okay. What do you guys do to help with that problem?
I mean,
Late hours, I'm assuming.
Well,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
later
we'll
hours,
see
stuff like
if
that.
they're available during regular business hours and like for the weekend hours. But again, sometimes that's not possible, so they have to schedule whenever they can.
Yep. Time is always going to be one of those things that is hard to rebuttal, right? Because like, you know, I've only got 24 hours in a day. I can't say, hey, well, we'll give you an extra hour in your day and then you can come in, right? It doesn't work that way, right? Usually with things like that, it's just all back down to value, right? Like a good way to handle that would like to go to some of these questions, be like, I completely understand, but like, let me ask you, has this been helping you? Are you feeling better every day by coming every time that you come here? Well, yeah. Well, look, you've only been coming once a week, right? But think about the amount of gains that you could see if you found the time to come here twice a week, right? My lingo in this is not going to be the greatest, right? But it's all about getting them to understand what they're losing out on. So it's almost like there's a diagram that we use in sales. It's like an up arrow and a down arrow, right? So the down arrow is fear of loss, right? Fear of missing out. The up arrow is hope of gain, what they could get from it, right? And so when addressing objections, you always have like those two choices. You can either go to fear of loss or what they're missing out on, or you can go to what greater benefits they would gain by doing more. And so that's one of those situations where money usually, if they're coming here once, money's probably not gonna be the problem a majority of the time, right? Like they'll say it is. That's because it's an easy way out. Money, I don't have the money. It's always the easiest way out because like, I can't tell you what you have in your bank account, right? But usually it's not gonna be money. It will always be if they understand how valuable it will be to come back and do that. With you guys, it's more about, again, it's always going to be more about consistency, right? Because you can't hammer people, right? Like I'm a phone salesman. I hammer the hell out of people on the telephone because it's easy to do so. And people in general are a glutton for punishment. So they will stay on the phone and let me hammer them, right? But you guys can't do that here, right? So it's really about building consistency around the communication and the value that you're trying to bring them. And like, it may not work the first time, but like, if you are consistent in your messaging, if you remember to do it every single time that you see that person, which is the tough part, right? Like, it's difficult to be there and be attentive and be aware of what you need to do every time that customer comes in. But the goal is always just to get them to start acknowledging that you're right? Like, even the very first time, it's like, hey, I understand. I know it's tough to find the time, right? But like, imagine the results that you could get if you came in twice a week. I just want you to think about that. Let's get you scheduled for your next appointment. You can come in, but in between now and then, I want you to think about this. How can we figure out a way to get you a couple of more, right? And there's always discounts that you can offer and things like that, right? But like for the people that you guys are dealing with, it's a good resource to use. Like, yep, all right, I understood. Well, I can always save you some money, right? But I get it. You guys would have to tell me more than I would know. But it's better to create consistency in the relationship with that person. Do you guys get like a lot of like one and dones? Like, do people just come in once and don't come back?
Most of the non-repeat customers are our Groupon customers.
Right.
Those who actually come in, to your point, are more they have a problem, or they're coming in because the one and dones mostly are either Groupon or they've heard about cryo, this cool thing. They really don't have a need. They just want to try this cool thing, right?
Okay.
So that's one is. But once we've been doing this for maybe a little bit over 3 to 6 months, where we kind of getting the follow-ups going. But we've been open for 2 years, so we have not been consistent. So that could have led to some of them falling through the cracks, because we've had people since the day we've opened and they see value. So that's what we're trying to do, a little bit more of capture that as testimonials and videos for other people to see. And again, we don't do a great job of even like regular emails about things. So I know it's a long answer to your question, but we do have a lot of one and dones, but they're a specific, it's a Groupon
type of customer,
or people who just come in because they want to try it, just because it's cool, they saw it on TV.
Yeah, Groupon people are tough. It's literally people that are shopping for a discount, right? So like, they're always going to be a little bit harder to convert, because they get the discount and they come in. You don't want to keep giving them the discount. they don't really want to pay full price. So you're always going to have a little bit of difficulty with those people, right? But it always just has to go back to like value-based conversation. Like that's, there's not much you can do you can't force anyone to do it, right? So it's always going to be about like, one, you guys knowing your business, right? Like expertise in what you do and how you communicate it is so much more valuable than understanding how to sell people, right? Because selling people and understanding how to do it is great, but really you just need to have a little process in place and be consistent in order to sell people, right? But understanding how to communicate your values, the things that you guys bring to the table for those people, is the best way to get them to re-engage with you. Because especially for the one and dones, and the people that are looking and want to experience cryo, right? They probably went online, they probably did a little bit of research and said, ooh, this can shave like 10 pounds off of me or something, right? Like they probably did those things, right? But the overall benefits and like how the continued benefits can help improve their life, they probably don't know, right? Like 9 times out of 10, they probably do not know like the continued benefits and the continued value that doing this can bring to them, right? Which is why they're one and dones. If they did, then they would keep doing it, right? So more so understanding and being able to communicate the continued value of doing it is going to get you there. And you only, it's tough, right? Because like you feel like you only have one opportunity a lot of times. So you don't want to be overly pushy. You don't want to make the person feel uncomfortable. But you know that if this is a new customer that's never come in before, that you have to do everything that you can, right? In those situations, the best thing that you can do is be an expert, right? Communicate the values. Hey, how did you like it? Was it great? Awesome. What was your favorite thing about it? Have you ever done infrared saunas before, or have you ever done what's the machine in there? The hyperbaric time chamber, right? Have you ever done those things before? No, I haven't. Like, what's that? Depending on what they come in here for, right? But really, just being able to speak to the people, simply. It has to be always simple, right? Hey, I'm glad that you had a good time. One time is great, but did you know if that you come for, 3 times in the next 2 weeks, that we can provide you with that people get this result on average? How would you feel if you lost 10 pounds by coming into our infrared sauna every day for a week, right? Whatever the case may be, but it's always about communicating that value and being an expert and being able to communicate the things to that person that they may not know, right? And so it seems difficult, but it's not. This is stuff that you guys do every single day, right? You know the benefits of the products and the services that you sell, right? The people that you're talking to don't always. If you assume that they know just because they came in here to do it once, that is a mistake. You have to always go back and recap those things. Again, the more that you do it, the less silly you'll feel doing it, and the more consistent you will be with that person. Because again, a lot of one and dones, they're going to remain that way. It is just the nature of what we do, right? But if you can get one person to come back one more time, and they can see that the messaging that you've been giving them the first time, they come in and there's another person here, not you, but there's another person here that gives them that same consistent messaging, that is a value add. That is how you dig your hooks in somebody that may be a little bit unsure or is a little bit trepid in like deciding if they want to come back more consistently, right? So that's really going to be kind of like the moral of this story, is consistency in how you guys communicate, right? Like when you get someone to leave here when you get someone who leaves here, like what processes do you want in place that everybody should do, and the things that everyone should talk about, right? And then, making sure that you have somewhere for, people who may not have been there the first time to be able to reference that information, right? Like they pull up their records. Oh, okay, here's what I talked to them about. Consistency, right? Like that's going to be the biggest thing for that. What other challenges do you guys encounter?
I think there's a lot of valid points, right? So I think what we need to get into is a couple of major things that we've gotten better, but if we have to continue, is just following up and having the consistent message when they come in. And I think keeping the pricing conversation, we have to redirect till the end, because a lot of people just start with the conversation like, hey, here's a 10-pack for $3.99. Like, what else do you have? Let's not even go there. Say, what is the value? Because when I started it, what I did is a lot of I'll call it scientific mumbo jumbo that people didn't care about, right? They're they're like 2% of people who are like in it, like, oh, that happens to your body. They just want results.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing, and then we've added stories, right? Because this is a brand new thing. Nobody knows what a cryo does. They've seen LeBron James do it, but what does it do for them? And the stories, like John has his own personal stories. If you don't have personal stories, then you talk through. We have guests who come in here for 2 years and they've changed their lives. So when you say that, then people can relate to it. If you have arthritis, we have stories for that. If you have pain, we have stories for your athlete. We have stories for that. So we have to relate that to them and let them think. Just because we offer something, they're thinking, we go, oh, you don't want the 400? We have 3 for 80. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna take the 3 for 80 all day long, right?
Every time.
Every
time. Yeah.
We can't assume they don't have the money. We have to let them think. And then if the offer stacking, that thing, something we've been working together on is, I don't want to lower our price, but there are things that we can do to stack the offer value. Like its compression session doesn't cost it that much. So how do we stack offer? At some point, like
create
you said,
value.
You're going to say yes to it as I keep stacking offer. At some point, you're going to say yes. Well, how much am I going to give away for that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really what the bottom line is. There are things you have flexibility, but let's not make it a pricing conversation, because that's the last thing we want.
Exactly, because usually that's not going to be the problem. I mean, yes, sometimes it will be the problem, right? Sometimes they won't have the money, and it will be true, right? But more times than not, it's just really about, like, do they really understand how spending this money will provide them with more value? And like you said, things like stories and analogies are always fantastic. It's literally like all I do usually is I just I have like the salespeople that I work with, and like they do all the hard work, and then I come in there and I give them a few analogies to close the deal down, because like that's what people relate to, right? Like you have to almost paint the picture for them, right? Because like even though they understand the facts, they may know the facts, right? They may even know the numbers. Like you said, they don't care about the scientific thing, but some people do, right? But at the end of the day, if you can't make them visualize what tomorrow will look like,
future facing,
right. It's they have to be able to visualize what tomorrow will look like if they did. So you have to actively paint those strokes for them, because a lot of people can't do it themselves. But your experience will make it easier for you, because you've talked to people about this. Hey, I have this person that they were with us for 6 months and they saw this outcome. What would your life look like if you had the same result? What would you do right now if you didn't have that pain in your knee? Right? Like those are powerful conversations to have with people. Not like, all right, thank you for coming in. Hey, by the way, did you know that you can get a 10-pack for $3.99? Yeah, no. Thank you. Bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like, that's people hear money, they want to run. People hear value, they want to stay, right? So it's always about starting there first. Always. Yep.
Do you guys have any other questions? Perfect. Thank you, John.
Appreciate it. No worries. Thank you for having me.